It was late evening when Clara left her theater practice. The city had already settled into a quiet hum, the empty streets shimmering with the faint, hazy glow of streetlights. A soft fog curled through the air, winding round the lampposts like ghostly fingers. Her footsteps echoed down the narrow lane, bouncing off the silent, sleeping buildings. She clutched her costume bag close, a nervous habit she'd picked up. Inside was her white mime outfit, complete with the pristine gloves and that eerie, painted mask she had to wear for her next performance. The play was an experimental piece, a deep dive into the concepts of fear and silence. Her role was a mime trapped in an invisible box, a character that already made her deeply uneasy. There was something about portraying that kind of silent, helpless struggle that got under her skin. As she passed the deserted town square, something caught her eye. A lone figure stood perfectly still in the very center, a stark silhouette against the fog. It was dressed entirely in black and white, its face painted a ghostly white with exaggerated black tears dripping from its eyes. Its red lips were curled into a frozen, unsettling smile. A mime. Clara frowned, pulling her jacket tighter. No one else was around. Street performers didn't work this late, especially not in this quiet part of town. The mime lifted one hand slowly, as if waving, but the movement was oddly stiff, unnatural, almost robotic, creepy. Clara muttered under her breath and quickened her pace. Behind her, faint footsteps began to echo her own. She stopped. The sound stopped. Her pulse quickened, a drumbeat in the silent night. "It's just in your head," she whispered, trying to reassure herself. It had to be. She started walking again, much faster this time, her keys jangling in her pocket. But then, from the corner of her eye, she saw him again. The mime. He was standing under a flickering streetlight now, much closer than before. He raised both hands, palms flat against an invisible wall, pressing hard as if trying to break through something unseen. A cold dread began to creep up her spine. Her throat tightened. This was no ordinary street act. This felt personal. This felt wrong. She took a few steps back, her eyes wide, ready to cross the street and get away. But her feet hit something solid, except there was nothing there. She reached out a trembling hand and felt it. A cold, flat, unyielding surface suspended in mid-air. An invisible wall. Panic flared in her chest. "No, no, this isn't real," she stammered, her voice a strangled whisper. The mime's smile seemed to grow wider, stretching impossibly. His fingers traced along the invisible barrier between them, mimicking her own terrified movements. Then, slowly, horribly, he began to press his hands asterisk through asterisk the wall. The air around his fingers bent and rippled like water, distorting the streetlight behind him. Clara stumbled backward and ran. She didn't look back, didn't dare. She just ran, her breath coming in ragged gasps, the sound of her own heartbeat roaring in her ears. She didn't stop until she reached her apartment, slamming the door shut and fumbling with the deadbolt. Her heart was pounding so hard it hurt. Leaning against the door, she tried to laugh it off. Just stress. Just nerves from rehearsal, she told herself. the words sounding hollow in the quiet of her apartment. She went to the kitchen and poured herself a glass of water, her hands shaking so badly that water sloshed onto the counter. But when she looked up, her breath hitched. The reflection in the dark kitchen window wasn't hers. The mime was standing right behind her, its painted smile reflected in the glass. She spun around with a cry, but there was nothing. Just the dark, empty room, the faint hum of the refrigerator, and the sound of her own frantic breathing. She looked back at the window. The reflection was empty now, too. It was just her, alone. Her phone buzzed suddenly on the counter, the vibration making her jump out of her skin. She flinched, staring at it as if it were a venomous snake. A notification from an unknown number. With a trembling finger, she opened it. It was a photo. A photo of her, standing in her own apartment, her back to the window. It had been taken just seconds ago. Her blood ran cold. She dropped the phone with a clatter and backed away, her eyes darting round the room. The light in the hallway flickered just once, as if someone had walked past and disturbed the air. Then she heard it, the soft squeak of rubber-soled shoes on her living room floor. Then came the tapping, tap, 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 a soft, rhythmic sound on the glass of her window. Clara's eyes, wide with terror, darted toward it. There, outside her second-floor apartment, the mime stood on the narrow ledge, perfectly balanced against the night sky, still smiling that awful, painted smile. He lifted a single white-gloved finger to his lips. And then the lights went out. Clara's scream was swallowed by the sudden, complete darkness. The next morning, the neighbors complained to the building manager about loud noises during the night, thuds, dragging sounds, and the sharp crash of something breaking. When the police entered Clara's apartment, they found no sign of forced entry. The windows were locked from the inside. The door was bolted. The only strange detail: the inside of every window and every mirror had handprints smeared in white paint, and a single, chilling red smile drawn across the bathroom mirror, right at eye level. Her phone lay on the floor, its screen cracked. The camera app was still open, as if she had tried to take a picture of her attacker right before she vanished. Bend frozen on the screen, in the final frame, was the mime's face, staring straight into the lens, a white, gloved finger pressed forever to its smiling lips. Later that evening, as dusk settled over the town, a street performer in full mime costume appeared in the same town square. Locals who passed by said he didn't speak, didn't move, unless someone looked away. And when they looked back, he'd be just a little bit closer. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this story, please hit that like button and subscribe for more chills. Don't forget to turn on notifications so you never miss a new video. Stay safe out there, and see you next time.